This comes to us from chicago.suntimes.com. This is a kind of a follow-up here to one, this dirtbag former cop. 5 more cases tied to disgraced former Chicago Police Sergeant Ronald Watts, remember him, were dismissed by Cook County prosecutors during a brief hearing Thursday at the Layton Criminal Courthouse. But the number fell short of what attorneys representing an additional 83 men and women who claim they were framed by Watts have been hoping for. They are still seeking to have those convictions overturned too. 83.
88 petitions were brought before the court today, but ultimately the state decided to vacate just 5 of them. But here is how we got to all of this in the first place. We know judges have already thrown out well over 100 convictions tied to Ronald Watts and his tactical team. Prosecutors have been clearing men and women of charges connected to Watts since 2016. In 2012, Watts pleaded guilty to stealing from a homeless man who posed as a drug dealer as part of an undercover FBI sting. Watts admitted to routinely extorting money from drug dealers and was sentenced to 22 months in prison. Now, in some of those cases that led to his arrest, Watts' victims refused to pay him money or did something that angered him. But in other cases, there appears to be no reason for why he targeted them.
The Cook County State's Attorney's Office has been steadily dropping cases tied to Watts as part of an ongoing review of convictions related to arrests made by Ronald Watts and other officers he supervised that has now spanned several years. And just think how many people, this is just Ronald Watts in Chicago. Think about how many people in Houston, New York, Aurora, Colorado, Phoenix, Arizona, Mesa, Arizona, Los Angeles, Florida, Detroit. Think about all the people in those cities who have been wrongfully convicted by cops, dirty cops, corrupt cops, who are still in prison and haven't gotten their justice, haven't gotten their redemption yet. This is a sad, sad thing when cops can do something and people go, "You're lying." You know why? Because he's a cop and he tells the truth. What? No, I'm telling the truth. Sure you are. That's what all criminals say. Guilty. You're going to prison for 100 years. As the cop walks out lying right through his teeth. And I'm not saying that's every case. I am not making a statement that all cops do that. Because no, there are cops that are doing the right thing. They are telling the truth. There are criminals out there who are scumbags, who are POSs. But there are also people who are innocently being convicted. Or not innocently. I meant innocent people who are being wrongfully convicted by corrupt cops all over the nation. So this Ronald Watts, they just exonerated 5 people. We still got 83 to go. 83. As of Thursday's hearing, 115 convictions, 115 tied to Watts and his crew have been overturned. Wow. According to attorney Joshua Tepfer with the Exoneration Project.
This morning, an attorney with the Exoneration Project called it an emotional day.
But when you're looking at the scope of what Ronald Watts and his officers did to the African American community in the housing projects on the South Side, I just remain deeply, deeply, deeply troubled that this was allowed to go on in the city of Chicago.
Watts was sentenced to 22 months in federal prison and Muhammad received 18 months. No other officers have been charged. 115 exonerations and overturned, and these guys get 18 months and 22 months. Not like 5 years, you know. Watts and his crew of officers, I like how they say Watts and his crew. His crew. Watts and his crew of officers have also been accused of shaking down residents of the former Ida B. Wells housing project. That's right, remember that one? and pinning bogus drug charges on them if they wouldn't participate in the extortions. Tepfer celebrated the victory for the 5 men who saw their convictions vacated and charges dismissed Thursday, while also lamenting the dozens of others who are still waiting. He said they literally wait for our call, hoping today will be the day.
So ultimately, at the end of the day, 5 petitions out of 88 were vacated today. That means at least 83 are still left out there. The state says they need more time to look over and review those petitions. We know a new court date has been set for January 3rd of next year.
Now, this is quite lengthy. This one does go down quite a bit. And I'll put the link to it in the description box below. But the biggest thing I wanted to bring out of this story is just think how many people in other... This is just Chicago. These cops. Again, all the cities that I named, Florida, the state, Memphis, Tennessee, Louisville, Kentucky. If I say Louisville, people go, hey, ain't no Louisville, 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 Kentucky, San Antonio, Houston, Dallas. Think of all the people that are being wrongfully convicted and nobody even cares. Except the Exoneration Project. They care.